Hi, everyone. Jonas Kane here with hashtag positivity, and welcome to On a Positive Note, the podcast that offers hope through positive news stories, practical insights, and even a little levity. And on that note, today is a very special day because today we have our first ever guest on the show. So please help me welcome Andrew Buerger. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm so excited to have you.
It's great to be here. You know, one of the positive things got out of COVID is that, you spend more time seeing out of town friends. It's a bummer you don't get to see your next door neighbor, but it's great to see old friends like you that I don't get to see often. So this is a real pleasure for me.
Yeah, up until recently, I would only see you once a year during expeditions, which is what we're going to share your story in just a moment. But through COVID, I've seen you a lot more.
It has been. It's been great, and it's nice to have some coffee together with you this morning.
Yes, it is. So, Andrew, I like to start off these episodes with a little levity. So, do you have a joke for us today?
You put me on the spot there, Jonas. So let me see. So I guess we're talking about mountain climbing. So let me see if I have a mountain climbing story. But I'm not sure if it's a joke, but it's more of a mountain climbing story. Because we've climbed together. We've done some expeditions. One of them was a mountain climbing expedition on Mount Adams. And we know what it's like. And I think, as you probably have learned very quickly, the three most important things about being a good mountain climber is one, a poor memory, two, the ability to suffer, and then three, I forgot the third. Get it? Memory. I forgot the third. There we go.
Okay.
The audience.
I get it.
That.
No,
you know what? The guys at home got that. The guys at home got it.
That is what makes it so funny, is because it's so authentic and so genuine.
Yeah.
I could speak with authority on that because of the first expedition that I did with you was the Grand Canyon.
Right.
And I had met you the second day of the trip because it was the one that I did was a rim to rim to rim. So hiking from one side of the canyon down in and up onto the other side, and then being exhausted and wanting to just give up and not even knowing if it was possible for me to go back in the next day. But you know what? I woke up in the morning. I was like, "Oh, I got this."
Yesterday wasn't that bad.
Oh my goodness!
You stumbled into camp a mess, and I'm like, "There's no way that guy's going tomorrow." And then there you were. I was going to call a medical on you. Get out of there. But you got back in there.
Ability to suffer.
Yes.
And a poor memory. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. That's kind of, my positive message is that, for me, I feel like suffering is a muscle that we need to build. And in our society, we don't suffer enough. I tell the story of my daughter, she loves going to the dentist. Yeah, she's like that. Oh, yay! I get the laughing gas. They have these TV screens where she's watching cartoons. They give her a little prize when she leaves. She feels no pain, right? She's like, brush my teeth. Why do I need to brush my teeth? I get to go to the dentist. For us, it was a horrible, horrible experience. And then, I tell the story that, my friend, he got a new car. It's like, how's your car? Oh, it's awesome. Oh, it's great. What's the best part of it? He said, the heated steering wheels. God forbid we get in our car and our hands get cold for 2 minutes. So all this stuff is so wonderful. And it is positive, right? The Novocaine, they pre-Novocaine your mouths these days. Back they just give you this awful shot. Now you don't even feel the shot. So our society is great. You don't want to get your arm amputated without, while you're awake. But at the same time, we've lost that muscle to suffer and to go through difficult times. And that's why one of the many reasons COVID has been so hard for people. And not to diminish it, Jonas, because, it is awful. But sitting home watching Netflix, is not like going off to war during World War II. It's just not. And, there's the old adage that, our grandparents went off to keep us safe off to Europe, and we can't stay home to keep them safe. So it's relatively not that bad. There's so many positive things that we talked about COVID. And how do we come out of this better than we came into it? What positive aspects? I wrote a book.
You literally wrote a book on
I literally wrote a book. I wrote a book on how to suffer through COVID. I can tell you, 50 awful things, but I can tell you 100 great things that have happened in the past 9 months.
And could you tell our listeners the title of your new book?
Yes. I have to read it. Carrying a flag from pain to passion.
I just ordered this book, and
awesome.
I'm excited to dive into this, because with the trips that I've been on with you, that is the core message. As we're about to ascend the mountain, or we're about to dive into the canyon, is you're talking about diving into the pain.
Yes.
You're really using that as the fuel
yes.
to get us to the summit. Using literally as the passion to keep us going. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you arrived at that title, and how you decided to do these expeditions, and what all this means to you?
Well, in the time it takes for somebody to brush their teeth this morning or pour their cup of coffee, my brief history of my life is that I had, like so many people, not just me or you, who've had challenges and adversity and grief in their life. But, when I was an infant, less than 6 months old, my mother died. And then my dad died when I was 31. He was only 58 of heart disease. And then my sister developed metastatic breast cancer and died when she was 45. And so through all those awful tragedies, all that pain, I found my passion, which is helping people stay well. The two most important days in a man's life, according to Mark Twain, or a person's life, is the day he's born and the day he figures out why. And so all those tragedies taught me about wellness, and I searched and figured out how to stay well, which is how to eat right and exercise. So that I took care of that part. And so that can take care of 87% of disease by staying well. But the other 13, you can't really prevent. And things like multiple sclerosis and breast cancer are really tough to prevent. They're preventable. There are certain things you can do to reduce your likelihood. So after my sister got sick, we started a nonprofit. We talked about Jodi's Climb for Hope, which takes people climbing around the world to raise money for breast cancer. If I didn't have enough challenges, my wife developed multiple sclerosis less than 6 months after we were married. And so, that just furthered my desire to raise more money. So we've raised over $850,000 for both breast cancer and multiple sclerosis here at Johns Hopkins University.
That is amazing. And what I love about that, you've literally taken this unfortunate situation, and you used it as fuel to not only improve the lives of the people that you love, but really helping to alleviate the suffering of people you'll never even meet.
Yes, exactly.
It's beautiful.
So one of those expeditions in Iceland, I discovered this product called skyr, which is an Icelandic yogurt, very similar to Greek yogurt. And I fell in love with it. This is, 12 years ago, but before Greek yogurt got really hot. And I really wanted to develop a protein drink that was organic, without any chemicals, and then also didn't have sugar. So I discovered this thing called skyr. I looked at my wife and said, Jen, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. So I came back home, quit my day job, and started bottling this skyr and made an organic protein drink that in 2017 was the 5th fastest growing organic and natural brand in the country. So we put out a really, really, really healthy product, and we donated 1% of sales to Jodi's Climb for Hope. And so, that again was part of my life's mission, is to help people stay healthy by giving them a healthy food and then donating money to disease research. So, all those challenges, my wife, my family, my loved ones, all gave me a reason to get out of bed. I get excited, not just out of bed, not just to drink good coffee, but to help with my life's mission. And I know what my mission is, which is to take a bite out of disease. And that's why I get up every day. And so I've been fortunate that I have a purpose. And when you discover a purpose, every day is a positive day, as you know, John. So, that's what and that's what the book is about, and that's what I'm imploring people to do through COVID is, why are we going through this suffering? Why are we on this earth? What makes us, what is our purpose in life? And do that a lot of exploring. Simon Sinek does a good job helping people through and find their passion. Hopefully you can put that in the show notes, Simon Sinek. And so, we were climbing on Kilimanjaro as a Jodi's Climb for Hope expedition, and we kept seeing this group go up. We were going up with the group. We came back down. I ran to the same group, and I said, hey, how'd you guys do? And they said, oh, well, 12 of the 24 of us summited. And I'm thinking, 12 of the 24 summited? Why is that? So, well, Billy's feet got cold, so Susie took him down, and Joey got tired, so Bobby took him down. And I'm like, what? We had flags we were carrying to the summit with my sister's name on it. We had people that were at home waiting for us to get that flag, that thank you flag, the Climb for Hope flag that was in our packs the entire way. We weren't going to let cold feet or fatigue stop that. And so when you carry a flag in your pack every single day, whether it's to the mountain or whatever it is, it's so hard to stop you. It really is. And you're not going to let altitude sickness or tired feet or cold toes stop you from accomplishing that mission.
That is such a powerful, powerful reminder of really having that ability to suffer. I mean, it kind of goes against the poor memory because, because you're by literally putting your passion into that flag, that is keeping that is remembering, your whole reason for getting up there. I remember climbing Mount Adams with you, thinking about my dad, and I summited that mountain. I was the last one to get to the top because I really struggled that whole last hour.
It's suffering.
But I was thinking about my dad. I summited on the 5-year anniversary of his death, who died of cancer. So I was remembering him. He was my flag. He was my reason, my purpose for carrying on because he's not able to anymore.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. You have such an amazing, such a powerful, powerful story, Andrew.
Well, I really appreciate you letting me share it with you, as do you. So I thought it was so important that we talk about it together.
So how can people get your book?
I mean, a lot of places you can get it. There's I guess the simplest is to go to Amazon. It is on Amazon.
And it's called Carrying a Flag from Pain to Passion?
Yes, carry a flag from pain to passion. So, you obviously can get it on Amazon, but hopefully you can put it in the show notes. There's a great independent bookstore in Ann Arbor that you can order it from. I just don't remember the URL. So hopefully you can put that up and let people support this woman-owned business in Ann Arbor.
I absolutely will. I will put all of that in the show notes. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and thank you for having such a powerful mission and a powerful story. As there are in my research, I found that there are 3 core pillars of positivity, and one of those pillars is having a purpose, having a reason to wake up every day on fire, because that is what you're absolutely right. That makes every day a positive day. So I'm so happy that you've embraced that.
Viktor Frankl said, when your why is big enough, you can overcome any how. And so, as you and I know, our whys are so big that, we all have setbacks and challenges and bad days, but our why is big enough so we can overcome anyhow.
That's beautiful. Well, Andrew, it's been a joy having you on the show.
My friend. Thanks.
And to all of our listeners, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. And I encourage you to leave a rating and subscribe to the podcast, as that's the best way to really let other people know about this positive resource. If you have any questions for me, you can email me directly at jonas@#positivity.com. And that email will also be listed in the description of today's episode. Until next time, my name is Jonas Kane, and this has been another episode of On a Positive Note.